What's up, guys? In this episode, we're going to have a special guest speaker come on to tell you how to get an apartment in China as a foreigner. So stay tuned. Now, as many of you may know, it could be kind of hard finding an apartment in China, especially if it's your first time and you speak no Chinese. Hopefully this video can clear up any of misunderstandings you may have before coming to China. As for the interview, we're going to answer a total of 6 questions so that you have a better understanding on how to get an apartment in China legally. For the first question, we had to tape it over because there are some technical issues, but the other questions will go on to the interview itself. The first question is, what is the general process a foreigner can expect when finding an apartment in China to live in? So we narrowed this down into 5 steps. The first step is to get in contact with a realtor or a point of contact that knows real estate in the city you're going to. For example, if you're going to Guangzhou, you can contact me directly or a guest speaker, Jazz, if you have any questions about real estate in Guangzhou. But you want this person to be knowledgeable about the city you're living in and can kind of guide you in the right direction on where you should live in based on your budget, etc. The second step is to determine your budget. Now, I've seen apartments go as low as 2,000 RMB a month, but also as high as 10,000 RMB if you want to live that luxurious lifestyle. A rule of thumb is to prepare at least 2 months rent in your bank account so that you can pay the deposit, which is usually 2 months, but it could be more. And once you determine your budget, up to step number 3, which is find your ideal location. Now again, leverage the realtor or your point of contact for this, but you want to find a place that's a reasonable distance to your workplace, to entertainment, and especially to public transportation, because in China, especially in the developed cities, public transportation is awesome and very convenient. The fourth step is to make sure you have a proper passport with a legal visa inside, proof of funds, and get ready to sign the lease. As I mentioned before, they want to make sure you have at least 2 months rent, if not more, before you go ahead and sign the lease. And they're going to check your passport and make sure you have a legal visa. It could be spousal, tourist, or business visa. They just want your money, really. You can see an example of the lease right here. You may need to get maybe a lawyer or a Chinese friend to look it over for you because most of the time it's going to be in Chinese, and you want to make sure you clearly understand the move-in and the move-out standards, and if any accidents or remodeling needs to be done, that is clearly specified in the lease to protect yourself. And then the last step is to go ahead, after you sign the lease, move in and register with the police station. As a foreigner, once you hit ground in China, if you're not going to a fancy hotel, you are supposed to register with the nearest police station within 24 hours. You can just type these characters in right here into Baidu Maps on the location that you're going to be living in, and then just go to the nearest police station that has a sign that says during these times we register foreigners. Go in there with your lease, go in there with your passport, get the registration done with, and then you're good to go. That wraps it up for the first question. Let's continue on with the interview. Welcome to another episode of Expat Survival. In this episode, we're going to be going through the whole process of getting an apartment in China as a foreigner. Today we have a special guest. Her name is Jazz, and she is from Guangzhou. She is a piano teacher that often helps foreigners find an apartment if they need assistance, and she's been really helpful to some of her foreigner friends. What are the price ranges you've seen in Guangzhou? What's the cheapest price you've seen for an apartment and the most expensive?
Around 3,000 or until up to maybe 10,000. Zhujiang Xinchen, you know, Zhujiang Xinchen really so expensive.
Based on your experience, you say the cheapest outside of the city center is probably 3,000 per month, and the most expensive can be up to 10,000 and more if you're in the middle of the city, if you're in like the middle of the city center of Guangzhou.
Yes.
It looks like they should have at least 2 months rent in their bank account. So if they want to go really cheap, let's say 3,000 RMB per month, they need to have at least 6,000 RMB in their bank account for the deposit, correct?
Yes.
Are there any special visa requirements that foreigners need to rent an apartment?
Actually, the landlord doesn't care about their visa for the apartment, but if for the office, maybe with difference. Some foreigner friends, maybe they will open their company. So they should own the company bank also. If the place just for living, sleeping, and will be different for the office. But usually they don't care about the visa if they did not do something bad from their countries.
It sounds like if they're just here to live, they don't really care what visa you have as long as you have a visa to be here legally. But if you own a company and want to rent a space, like an office space, then they want to see some paperwork, like maybe a work or a business visa, so that you can prove that you're staying there legally, right?
Yes, exactly.
But in the end, like if you're just living there, you can go there with a tourist visa, and then they just want to make sure you have the money for the deposit, and then they'll be okay, correct?
Yes.
What do you think the biggest mistake is that foreigners have taken from your experience?
Because my foreigner friends, they will say, "Oh, my workplace is really so far from my apartment." Always think it's inconvenience. Maybe some foreigner friends will like to living in the peaceful place, but maybe the place is not nearby the subway. So they will always say, "Oh, I spend a lot of money on DD. Actually, I just want to save money, so why I rent a cheap apartment. Their workplace is really so far from their apartment will drive them crazy." Some foreigner friends told me that question, that mistake.
Okay.
And then they will move to other place.
And when people just want to find a place to stay, they just want to save money by finding the cheapest place, but they don't think about other factors like public transportation, the nearest subway, how far the place is from where they work, and all these factors that may end up increasing the cost of living. So you've had friends that chose the cheapest apartment, but it's so far from their work or the subway that they have to take a DD. And every time they take a DD, it adds up and the costs actually end up being more expensive. So if you find a subway apartment that may cost maybe 5,000 RMB versus an apartment that only costs 3,000 RMB, but they have to pay for DD and public transportation for the whole month, it may be more than 5,000 RMB. So they didn't really think that through. Is that what you meant?
Yes, exactly.
If you had to leave the audience with one piece of advice, some recommendations about finding an apartment, what would it be?
I will ask them to rent a place nearby the subway, especially at the beginning. After some days, maybe they will know more about the city.
So it sounds like your biggest piece of advice is, for the first time coming, find a place next to maybe a bus stop or a subway where they can easily go to and from work. And then when they start getting used to living in China or in Guangzhou, then maybe they can search for a different apartment if they're not comfortable in the apartment they're in right now.
Yes.
Okay, so thank you for this valuable information. If anyone were to want to find an apartment in Guangzhou, what would be the best way to contact you?
I'd like to share my WeChat ID to them.
So I hope you enjoyed this informative video on how to get an apartment in China. Don't be scared to reach out to either myself or to Jazz for any inquiries you may have. If you want more detailed discussions on one-on-one questions, you can write them down in the comments below, or you can follow me on social media and hit me up in the DMs. I tend to answer within 24 hours. Consider subscribing to my channel if you want to see more tips and tricks about having a better lifestyle in China as a foreigner. Anyways, thank you for watching, keep surviving, and I'll catch you in the next one.